empty. Thus the prakrtis of water by itself is cold. If one brings it close to fire, it becomes hot. If one puts out the fire, it becomes cold again. It is the same with the prakrtis of dharmas. As long as the karmic conditions are not present, it is empty, non-existent, like the prakrtis of water, eternally cold. When the conditions come together, the dharmas exist like the water that becomes hot near the fire. If the conditions become rare or disappear, there are no more dharmas, like the boiling water that becomes cold again when the fire is extinguished. Samdhi Sutra. It is said in a sutra, "The eye is empty, without me or mine." Why? Because that is its essence. The ear, nose, tongue, body and mind, color, sound, smell, taste, touch and dharmas are also like that. Question. This sutra says that the 12 ayatanas are empty of me and mine. 1. It speaks of the emptiness of beings and not of the emptiness of things. Why do you see in it a proof of the emptiness of the prakrtis? Answer. In the sutra, it is merely a question of the emptiness of the prakrtis. It does not speak of the emptiness of beings or of the emptiness of things. Prakrtis sunyata is of two kinds. 1. In the 12 bases of consciousness, there is no me and no mine. The emptiness belonging to the 12 bases of consciousness consists of the absence of me and the absence of mine. This is what is said in the system of the Sravakas. 2. The Mahayana system, however, says 1. The 12 bases of consciousness having neither me nor mine are empty. 2. The prakrtis essence of the 12 bases of consciousness, being non-existent, is itself empty of prakrtis. Moreover, if there is neither me nor mine, one automatically ends up in the emptiness of things. Because people are specially attached to their me and mine, the Buddha says only that there is no me or mine. From that we necessarily will know the emptiness of all the dharmas. To be detached from the dharmas of me and mine is to be detached from other dharmas a fortiori. This is why the emptiness of beings and the emptiness of things finally end up in the same sense called emptiness of essence here. Finally, what is called prakrtis is to exist by itself, independent of causes and conditions. That which depends on causes and conditions is a formation and not a prakrtis, and in no dharma is there a prakrtis. Why? Because all conditioned dharmas arise from causes and conditions, and, since they arise from causes and conditions, they are formations. If they did not arise from causes and conditions, they would not be dharma. Therefore it is the absence of prakrtis in every dharma which is called emptiness of prakrtis. 2. Emptiness of prakrtis and absolute emptiness. Question. But absolute emptiness, being nothing at all, is identical with the emptiness of prakrtis. Why do you repeat yourself? Answer. Absolute emptiness is the destruction of dharmas without any residue, whereas emptiness of prakrtis consists of being originally and eternally empty. The latter is like water which, cold by essence, becomes hot when it is brought to the fire and becomes cold again when the fire is extinguished. Absolute emptiness, however, is like space, ever without production, without destruction, without taints and without purification. Why do you claim that they are identical? Furthermore, dharmas are absolutely empty. Why? Because their prakrtis is non-existent. Dharmas are empty of essence. Why? Because they are absolutely empty. Finally, the emptiness of prakrtis is particularly cultivated by the bodhisattvas, whereas absolute emptiness is particularly cultivated by the Buddhas. Why? In the emptiness of prakrtis there is only a complex of causes and conditions, but there is no real essence. Absolute emptiness itself is pure in the 3 times. Those are the differences. 3. Shared prakṛtis and specific prakṛtis. The essences of all dharmas are of 2 kinds, 1. Shared essences and 2. Specific essences. 1. Shared prakṛtis are impermanence, suffering, emptiness, non-self, non-production, non-destruction, non-coming, non-going, non-entering, non-leaving, etc. 2. Specific prakṛtis, e.g. the hot essence of fire, the moist essence of water. App. The intelligent essence of the mind. The man who rejoices in doing evil is said to be of bad essence. The one who loves to accumulate good things is said to be of good essence. As it is said in the Chali King, the Buddha knows the world with its many essential dispositions. As these prakṛtis are empty, we speak here of the emptiness of the prakṛtis. Essence. 4. Absurdity of the shared prakṛtis. Absurdity of an impermanent prakrtis. If an impermanent prakrtis really existed, it would ruin the retribution of actions. Why? Because productions, destructions in the past would be without duration, the six organs would not seize their objects, and there would not be any accumulated causes and conditions. This accumulation being absent, recitation of the sutras, meditation, etc. would be impossible. This is how we know that an impermanent prakrtis does not exist. Absurdity of a permanent prakrtis. If an impermanent prakrtis does not exist, what could be said then about a permanent prakrtis? Absurdity of a painful prakrtis. Furthermore, a painful prakrtis does not itself exist either. If it were really painful, one would never experience a feeling of attachment. The person filled with distaste for and fear of suffering would feel the same distaste and the same fear towards happiness. If everything were essentially painful, the Buddha would not have mentioned three kinds of sensations: unpleasant sensation, pleasant sensation, and neither unpleasant nor pleasant sensation. If everything were essentially painful, there would not be the occasion to feel hatred for suffering, love for happiness, worry towards what is neither painful nor happy. If everything boiled down to a single nature, that of suffering, one would feel hatred for happiness and love for suffering, which is absurd. Absurdity of a happy prakrtis. If this painful prakrtis is non-existent, what can be said of a happy prakrtis except again that it is false? -6. Absurdity of an empty prakrtis and a real prakrtis. Moreover, an empty prakrtis does not itself exist either. Why? If there were emptiness, there would be neither sin nor merit, and in the absence of sin and merit, there would be no previous existence and no later existence. Moreover, dharmas exist in interdependence. Why is that? If there were emptiness, there must be reality, and if there is reality, there must be emptiness. Since the empty prakrtis does not exist, how could there be a reality? -8. Absurdity of an impersonal prakrtis and of a personal prakrtis. If there were no Atman, there would be neither bondage nor deliverance. One would not go from the present lifetime to the future lifetime to gather the fruit of sin and merit, and there would be no fruit of retribution caused by actions. For these reasons we know that an impersonal prakrtis does not exist, nor, a fortiori, a personal prakrtis. -10. Absurdity of a prakrtis without arising or destruction and a prakrtis with arising and destruction. A prakrtis without arising or destruction is not real either. Why? If it really existed, one would fall into the view of eternalism. If all dharmas were eternal, there would be no sin and no merit. That which is would exist eternally, and that which is not would never exist. That which is not would not arise, and that which is would not disappear. If a prakrtis without rising or destruction does not exist, what then can be said of a prakrtis with arising and destruction? It is the same for the prakrtis without coming or going, without entering or leaving, and other shared prakṛtis. Essence. 5. Absurdity of specific prakṛtis. Furthermore, the specific prakṛtis are also absurd. How is that? Take, for example, fire. It burns its material of appropriation and it illuminates. When two dharmas are brought together, we say there is fire. If outside of these two dharmas there existed a fire, it would possess separately a distinct function. But actually there is no distinct function. This is how we know that fire is just a designation and has no reality. If truly there is no fire-dharma, why do you say that heat is the essence of fire? Moreover, the heat essence arises from conditions. Inwardly there is the body organ and outwardly there is tangible form. Together they give rise to a tactile consciousness that perceives the presence of warmth. If the organ and the tangible are not brought togther, there is no heat essence. This is why we know that there is no fixed heat constituting the essence of fire. Moreover, if fire really had a heat essence, how do you explain? First, that some people on entering fire are not burned. Secondly, that the fire present in the human body does not burn the body. Thirdly, that water cannot destroy the fire present in space. It is because fire does not have as essence a fixed heat. 1. By the power of the superknowledges, fire does not burn the body of some ascetics. 2. As a result of actions, fire does not burn the 5 internal organs of the human body. 3. By the power of the celestial dragon, water does not destroy the fire of space. Finally, if the heat essence were different from fire, fire would not be hot. And if heat were the same as fire, why claim that this heat is the essence of fire? It is the same with the other prakṛtis essence. As the shared prakṛtis and the specific prakṛtis do not exist, the